thought I'd show you a single door, a single frameless door, and point out a few things about it. It's kind of short, and the reason being, it's going to sit on a tub. So by the time we're done, it'll be quite a bit higher. But I've already been to Islesboro. I've already been to the job site. I've measured very carefully the conditions, and one wall was out 3/16 of an inch. So when I drew that up, I let SigCode know that one wall was out 3/16 of an inch, and that's what they did. They cut the glass 3/16 of an inch out of square. Once they cut the piece of glass, then they polished the edges, and they put this big notch here. That's a notch for the hinges, and they drilled a couple holes in it. They made sure that it was perfect, and then they ran it through the tempering oven. They heated it up to about 1400 degrees, I guess it is. And once it comes out the other end of the oven, it's quenched with air. And that's what gives it its tremendous strength. If you were to break this, and it's pretty hard to break them. In fact, it's very hard to break them. It would blow up into lots of little tiny pieces, none of which can seriously damage you. So, they're very safe. But I wanted to point out this notch particularly and show you why it's there. This is a typical wall hinge. There we go. Here's the inside. Okay, there's the mechanism that closes it. And this is a little rubber gasket which gets put on the wall hinge. And when I get to the job site on Monday, I'll unwrap the glass and I'll put this hinge on with the gasket. Then I'll put another gasket on this side, and finally, the last thing is I'll put this back plate on, a couple of screws, tighten them up really tight, and that's what holds the hinge to the glass, or the glass to the hinge. So that's about it for a single shower door. I think on the next video I'll talk a little bit about the door swing. This segment is on door swing. This is a typical neo-angle shower. It's a very wide door, so it requires 3 hinges. But all shower door hinges act the same. They open to a 90 degrees out. Right to there, stops itself, and 90 degrees in, right to there. In fact, this one, the door handle hits the wall before it's open to a 90. And they are called self-centering hinges. When you get to a certain point, it swings back and forth and then comes to rest. And it's supposed to come to rest dead center, but it doesn't always do that. Let's take a look at that. Okay, if we push this door in and let it try to come back and self-center, let's see what happens. Swings back and forth a couple of times. That's pretty good. That centers very well on the adjoining panel. Try it once more. Okay, it did not quite line up. It should be back to about there. So, even though these are called self-centering hinges, they don't always quite self-center. There's nothing really wrong with the hinge. It's just that that's the way these hinges are. So sometimes people think that the hinges are defective, but they really aren't. That's just a customary part of frameless shower doors. Let's take a look at a way to solve that problem. On this door, we have stopped the self-centering feature and made it open only one way, out. And this is the way about 99% of our installations are done. Number one, it doesn't make any sense to open most doors in because the shower valve would then be behind the door. So, but some people like it to swing both ways. But this is the way most people prefer to have it done. We've taken a little seal. Let me show you that. See this tiny piece of plastic. And we have glued it on the edge of the glass back here. Right here with a double-sided sticky tape by 3M. And it acts as a stop for the door, and then it prevents leakage too. In this shower, we have a handheld shower over here, and it's aimed at the door. So that sometimes presents problems. So anyway, if you glue that on there, and then we adjust the hinges to try to close inward to about here, and when you let go of the door, like this, comes up against that little seal, it lines up perfectly, and most people are happier with that. Oh, I'll show you something else here too. Hold on. I thought I'd take a minute and show you the bottom seal that goes on almost all doors. Let me take it off for a second so you can see it better. It just slips on the bottom of the door. It's a piece of plastic, has a deflector on the inside. As water comes down, it kind of shoots that water back into the shower. And also, if it didn't have this deflector on there, the water droplets would drop next to the door on the inside, splat, bounce up the other outward. So you don't want that either. This unit is an acrylic unit, which the threshold is not very wide, and it's not tipped very much. So normally on fiberglass or acrylic unit, we'll take a dam strip. This is a dam strip, comes in chrome, brushed nickel, a lot of colors. And we would cut that right there to the right size, and then we would slide that in and silicone it to the base right under the door. It's not very obtrusive, and that's a great way to solve that any water leakage problem.